The e-phone is our emergency line for students, staff, professors, or anyone else that needs to reach us in case of emergency. It's also occasionally used for airport pickups outside of office hours or if someone needs to get a hold of staff and can't wait until morning. It rotates among the staff. Each staff member will have it for at least 1 week. To know when it's your turn to have the e-phone, check the activity leader time or the emergency phone schedule on Google Calendar. If you have the emergency phone, you're not permitted to leave town or be intoxicated. This includes after office hours and on weekends. The emergency phone should never be kept on vibrate. You need to be able to hear it when it rings. When you have the emergency phone, it's important to remember that you are the lifeline for all participants on site. Keep the phone on you at all times, and when it rings, answer it immediately. Students could be calling because their Wi-Fi's out, they're having an argument with their apartment mate, or they don't know what time to be somewhere the next day. But they also could be calling because they're lost, they're hurt, they've been robbed or mugged, or something really bad has happened. We've had students call for all of these reasons and many more. Remember to take these calls seriously and be professional in answering the phone. Make sure to keep the phone charged. The battery lasts for a long time, but charge it every night. How to use the emergency phone. In order to turn the emergency phone on, press the smaller button on the right-hand side of the phone. Swipe to the right or left and enter the code 1992 to unlock the phone. The phone has the following apps installed in order to assist a student in an emergency. MyTaxi. MyTaxi allows you to call a taxi and send it to a specific address to collect the student. You can also pay the taxi through the app, meaning that the students don't have to worry about it. WhatsApp. This allows you to talk to other staff members if necessary. Also, students often use this app to text since they don't have phone service in Spain. Farmacias. Farmacias has up-to-date information on nearby pharmacies. This is useful if a student needs to find a pharmacy at an unusual hour. It'll give you a list of open pharmacies in order of proximity to you. Google Maps, which can help you find a student or guide a student to where they need to be. My112. This app has up-to-date alerts on the area and allows you to call emergency services. It has location services, so at the touch of a button, they know where you are and can send an ambulance straight to you. And Drive. Drive gives you access to all of our office materials. Open the app and click on the Barcelona SAE emergency folder. Here you will have access to the alarm code for the office, numbers for emergency services, the gas company, the locksmith, police contact information, partner emergency numbers, and the what to do in case of emergency documents. Along with the emergency phone, you will also be responsible for carrying the emergency phone case. In the case, you will find the following items. A tablet. This essentially works as an extension of the emergency phone, but with a larger screen for viewing documents. It has all of the same apps as the ePhone and the same documents downloaded for offline use. It is useful to have so that you can look up information while on the phone with a participant. The password of the tablet is also 1992. A charger. This works for the emergency phone, the tablet, and the backup battery. Keys to get in the office. One key to the front door of the building and one key to get to the door of the office. The alarm to the offices is active between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. on weekdays and all day on Saturdays and Sundays. If you need a key to an apartment, you can contact the student services team or housing coordinator. A backup battery. The backup battery is for when the ePhone is about to die and you can't access a power plug. Also keep the backup battery charged. You will also find a cash lending form for students. These are used in case a student is in need of money. We can lend them money from the program, and these forms are how we keep track of how much has been given out. We have them for all providers. If you run out, ask the student services team for more. When answering the emergency phone, remember that we have participants on site from all programs. A correct way to answer the phone would be, Barcelona Study Abroad. This is the emergency phone, how can I help you? If the reason for calling is not an emergency, remind the person calling that this is the emergency phone and that office calls should be made to the office phone within office hours. Here is an appropriate response to a call that is not an emergency. This is the emergency phone, and it is important to keep this line clear for students in need. Could you send me an email with your concerns and we'll take care of it during office hours? If the call is an emergency, assist the participant with whatever they need. You can refer to the Health and Safety Guide for appropriate actions for different situations. You can also search the top of the Health and Safety Guide using keywords in both English and Spanish. For example, you could search assault or pasaporte, and the appropriate action steps will come up. If the event happens during office hours, it's important that you communicate the incident to the health and safety staff ASAP, and they will take charge of the situation. If the event occurs over the weekend, you will be responsible for following up and making sure the participant is okay. If you don't know what to do in a situation, then contact the site director and ask for assistance. After the problem has been resolved, make sure to fill out the incident report. This can be found on both the emergency phone, the tablet, and Google Drive. If you don't have access to the incident report, ask a staff member to share it with you. It is important to remember to fill this report out ASAP, as the health and safety staff need to be fully informed about the situation so that they can inform partners and take appropriate action steps if necessary. To fill out the form, use the third person and be as detailed as possible. There's an SOP with instructions on how to correctly fill out the form. So what do you do if a student calls you and wants to go to the hospital? You can meet with them first at their house, or meet with the student at Clínica Sagrada Familia if they have CC insurance, or Quirón if they have Geo Blue, depending on the severity of the situation. Use common sense. You can tell which insurance the participant has by looking them up in program participants. You won't have to pay anything at Sagrada Familia if the student has CC, or at Quirón if they have Geo Blue. If they have a different insurance, they will need to pay upfront, and they will be reimbursed after they file a claim. Clínica Sagrada Familia has an international department that's open 24/7 with an English-speaking staff that can help with all of the insurance paperwork and be with the student at all times. All of the information about the participant's medical status can be provided by the international department staff upon request. It is important to know that there is always an emergency phone backup. If the emergency phone rings and is not answered, the call will be forwarded to the site director. This is so that the participant will receive assistance even if the person in charge of the emergency phone is unavailable. This process has been implemented as a backup option only and does not relieve you of your responsibility when you are in possession of the emergency phone. If the site director is not in Barcelona, then the call will be forwarded to the assistant site director. If you know that you'll be unavailable at some point, for example, you know that you'll be in a concert or swimming at the beach, you can always ask a coworker to cover for you. After a coworker agrees, you can set up the emergency phone to automatically forward to their phone. Whenever you're finished with your activity, you can disable this feature, and you'll be able to receive calls again. Keep in mind that you must clear this with your coworker first. That's pretty much everything you need to know about the emergency phone. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the Health and Safety Coordinator. Check the on-site safety guide for more tips related to emergency solutions, hospital visits, or insurance. We recommend reviewing all health and safety materials thoroughly so that you're well prepared in case of an emergency on site.